Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday. It is one of my days off from work. I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I need to run some errands, so that's what we're going to do. I need to, I need to get some deodorant. I want to pick up a gift for my middleist. She has her first communion soon, so I need to swing by and pick something up for her. I want to get some paint samples from the store. We're going to paint our first floor bathroom. It's like the main bathroom that like guests will use, and also the kids. We only have two. One upstairs in our master bathroom, and then this main one. Like a hair in my eyeball. But yeah, we want to paint that because it's very old and janky. Our house was moved here in like the 2000s, like real early 2000s. And the guy who did it did a lot of DIY remodeling and updating. The house itself was built in like 1920 or something like that. So it's a very janky bathroom, and I'm hoping some paint, and we might refinish the bathtub, and I'm hoping that that'll help kind of make it feel less janky. I don't know. But we need to do all that. My husband is going to pick up our race bibs or race packets for the 10K this weekend. I am going to do it, even though my training has gone off the rails and it's probably not going to go well, but I'm going to do it and just get it done. And I have to do it by myself because my husband has a foot injury. He finally saw a doctor and he's wearing a boot. So he cannot run it with me. So I'm on my own. It's okay. It'll be okay. It'll be great. And at least if it's not, it'll be over soon. I also want to redo, we have a gallery wall in our dining room that I put up when we first moved here 5 or 6 years ago. And one of the pictures fell like a year and a half ago. It's been a while. But it fell and it broke. And so I've just been sitting there with like this hole in the wall for, not a hole in the wall, but a hole in the art, in the gallery, I guess, for a while. And I want to redo that and refresh it because I haven't found another piece that just fits in that spot. And it's kind of like older vintage paintings and stuff that I've thrifted. So it doesn't necessarily like tell our story. Like they aren't personal or meaningful pieces to us in any way. And they're also kind of dark. And I think I want to bring in some more color. I ordered a couple of art pieces from an artist I really like, which I will show you later in this video. But the frames that I ordered for them have been delayed. And I messaged the seller and they were like, oh yeah, because I thought that they were delayed in shipping because it said that they'd shipped, but they haven't even made them yet. So that's fun. So I'm waiting for those to be finished and actually shipped, and then we will redo that also. But anyway, let's get going. Let's get our errands done, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, here are the paint colors we chose. It is very overcast and cloudy today, so I don't know if you can really see them. I think this one is too dark. This one looks pretty good on camera, actually, but it's very brown in person, and so is that one. So it's kind of down to these two, I think. And this is the bathroom that we're working with, so this is like a really old, janky vanity. It does have a lot of space on one side, which is really nice. We have 3 girls, so that will come in handy. But yeah, this sort of unoffensive, just boring beige tile. And it's just not fancy. That's okay. But I think that some paint is really gonna help kind of draw it together and make it look better. And I think too, like the dark green will play nice with this sort of orangey brown.
And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm overestimating the impact, but I think it's going to look good.
Okay, it's time for a reading update. I finished In Her Defense by Philippa Malika, and the writing was really great. Let me back up. Okay, so In Her Defense is about several characters. It centers on a court case between a mother and the therapist of her estranged daughter. And then it's all told then through the eyes of another character who has ties and connections to all of those other three. And so the questions that arise are basically the therapist is being accused of being kind of like a cult leader instead of an actual therapist, and of using her clients for her own gain instead of actually trying to help them. And you're trying to figure out, at first you don't know who you can trust and who you can believe. It becomes fairly obvious fairly quickly who is at least telling the truth. It kind of deals with like the nature of memory and what you can and can't trust, and what truth is when it involves memory, because different people will remember things so differently because their experience of that thing was so different. So that was really interesting, and the book was very well written. I really just sort of enjoyed the topic, and I really enjoy court drama. But I expected there to be, I don't know, like a little bit more drama, I guess. It's told in two separate timelines. So there's the court case, and then there's what happened, and you jump back and forth between the two. And so the truth is revealed as you go through the past timeline, and then it's kind of played out now in the court case timeline. But really, there's no like climax to the story, I guess. I think it's supposed to be the court decision, the outcome of the court case, but that just felt very anticlimactic to me. So if you're not interested in like a client therapist relationship or memory or any of like the topics discussed, or cults, I guess, then you might not be interested in the book, because it's just, I don't know, like I didn't not like it. I really enjoyed it, but there just wasn't this like turning point to the story or any like plot point to latch onto. And the only character you really get to know that well is the narrator. And I'm not even sure that I like her. It just gets really like whiny and kind of obsessive. And so you have this sort of distaste for her as well as all the other characters. And I don't know, I'm still kind of chewing on it, but it's very interesting. I did enjoy reading it. It did a really good job of kind of sucking you into the vibe though, because like I found myself being a little bit depressed as I was reading it, because the characters are going through things that are so hard and they are feeling depressed. And so the writing did a really good job of communicating and sort of creating that atmospheric vibe that, yeah, you're sort of like living in it as you're reading it. So it's a thriller, but it wasn't very thrilling. It's more of like a psychological experience than like an action-packed book. I think I gave it 3 stars. So it was like a solid, I like it. Not like a favorite or anything, but it was pretty good. So the next book I read was Paper Cut by Rachel Taff. And this one is also about a cult, but like a legit cult. This girl is taken to the desert where she meets her long lost father, who she's never known, and kind of sucked in. Turns out he's a cult leader, and she gets sucked into that whole life. And then she escapes and writes a book about her experience. And in the book, she tells the story of how she came to be in the cult, how she escaped the cult, and that she killed her father to escape. And so then many years later, this up and coming documentarist, is that the word? Documentary maker, is wanting to make a documentary about her experience. And so you go through the process of her making that with him and his staff.
And you find out the truth of what really happened all those years ago and who she really is and what really went down. It was very fast paced. It was easy to read. It was entertaining. I will say that I did not find the twists all that hard to guess. There are several. It's one of those books that there are multiple layers to it, which normally I really enjoy. But this one felt a little bit too cut and dried. I guessed almost all of them fairly early on. And maybe I've just read too many thrillers. I mean, that's possible too. But it's a debut novel. I think Rachel Taff, this is her first one. So for a debut, actually, I was pretty impressed. It was okay. It was another 3-star for me, an enjoyable read. I think I read it in a day. It's not heavy, even though it sounds like it should be. Or at least I didn't find it to be. Yeah, a quick read. It was fun. The cover's also hot pink, which apparently I'm really drawn to like neons in covers lately because there was neon on In Her Defense, and then I also have recently read Anatomy of an Alibi, which also has a neon cover. And then I just finished an audiobook called How to Read a Book by Monica Wood. And it sounds very like nonfiction, but it's not. It's about this 3 characters really who are all connected by a car accident that happened. So you have the girl who was driving the car who went to prison, the husband of the woman who was in the other car, and then a woman who leads a book club at the prison where the first character is incarcerated. And then the character who is incarcerated, gets out. She's released early, and all 3 of those people, their lives intertwine again. And so it's a lot about forgiveness, the power of literature, there being a deeper story to people, and how the worst thing that you've ever done does not have to define the entire story. It was really beautifully written and really beautifully done, and I actually really enjoyed it. I listened to it over like 2 months. I was very slow listening to it. It's very much about like the decisions that you make and how they shape the next chapter of your life. Very much about loss and grief and moving forward and forgiving not just other people, but forgiving yourself. I don't know, it was really well done. That one gets a 4-star from me. Not like a 5-star all-time favorite, but very, very good. Would definitely recommend. So, yeah. I also recently ordered my Book of the Month box, so when that gets here, I might unbox it with you. I was pretty excited, I think, about this month's picks. I've already forgotten what I ordered, but I remember being very pleased with them. I also have a couple of pre-orders that I placed a while ago coming in this month, so I'm really excited for those. I'll show you when they get here. I've added quite a bit to my TBR shelf recently, so maybe we should go through and I can show you some of those, because I'm definitely buying books faster than I'm reading them right now. It's okay.
My picture frame is still delayed, and I messaged the seller, and it's not even going to be shipped for at least a week because they've marked it as shipped, but they haven't even made it. Apparently they're made in-house and they ran out of the particular color that I ordered, and so they have to make more. But I don't know, they're sitting on it. So my picture frame is delayed, and there's nothing that I can do about that, and that's okay. We're still gonna move forward. So I have this half of a gallery wall behind me, if you can see. So this picture over here fell down and broke like a year and a half ago, and we've just left it as is and have lived with this ever since. So I would like to refresh this. I have several pieces picked out. I ordered a couple pieces of art from Jess Franks. She does some really beautiful sort of like abstract landscapes. They kind of remind me of like a paint by number, but much messier, and like the colors are brighter and they're really fun. So I picked out 2 of those pieces, and then I just have a bunch of like cheaper bits. But I don't know if I have everything I need to redo this or not. Don't know if I'll reuse some of these pieces. Basically, I just don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these off the wall, and I'm going to dust the wall, and then I'm going to get out what I have. And some of it's just like blank frames without art yet. So we'll see where we're at. But I'm going to get out what I have and kind of work on an arrangement and see what holes I have and what else I might still need.
while I wait for the big picture frame. And honestly, not having that is going to be kind of a pain because it's a huge piece. It's like 20 by 30 inches. There's going to be a big hole in this, and I'm not entirely sure how to accommodate or how to work with that, but we'll see. We're just doing what we can so that we can make some kind of progress. So
Okay, so I thought that these were all on there, hung up there with the Velcro command strips, which you can just take apart and then remove the backing, which would be really easy, but that turns out it's not the case. Some of them were hung with regular command strips, and I don't know if you can see this, but I took a whole big chunk of the paint and drywall, and maybe it's plaster. Most of our walls are plaster, so I think this looks like plaster, but yeah, took a big chunk out of the wall, so that's fun.
Okay, so now this is a little bit more, it's really hard to show you, I'm sorry. So here would be the big piece, and its frame is white, assuming that works and I stick with it, I don't know. And I grabbed a couple of pieces from the previous wall to reuse, like this one and that one. And then, so there would be a hole here that I would need to fill, and there's another hole right there. And then there'd possibly be something up here depending on how that larger frame fits into this. I don't know. What do you guys think? And obviously, like, there's no art in that. There's no art in that. There's no art in that one. That one would be replaced. And then the holes would need to be arted. I don't know. I also have this picture frame. I probably wouldn't use that art, but I could use the frame in this somewhere if I needed to. Okay, so I think I've got a little bit better of an idea here. So I use this frame as just a placeholder. If I flip it over, it's 20 inches tall. So if I flip it over, sorry, let me back up. It's 20 inches tall by 16 inches wide. So it'll roughly take up the space of a 20 by 30, like here plus here, right? So that's the hole for that piece. And then, sorry, it's really hard to show you. I use these postcards as just placeholders if I got like some smaller 4x6 frames there and 5x7 here, and then some more 4x6s right there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it too wide and not tall enough? I feel like that's a worry. But I don't know. I also don't know if like having this big giant piece on the bottom is a great idea, or if I should flip it and then move this piece down. But I kind of like it. And I also don't want it to feel top heavy. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you have thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. I really like it. I did end up putting that picture on top instead of on the bottom, and I like the way it looks. But it feels a little unfinished like here and here. I don't like the jagged bottom of that. So I'm still gonna look for something to fix that. But for right now, I'm really happy with this. Okay, hello. We're getting ready to go do the race. It's an evening race. It starts at like 4, which is pretty unusual. But on the one hand, I'm glad I didn't have to get up early this morning. On the other hand, I've had all day to stew about it and get really, really nervous. So That's great. It's like 40 degrees. Don't mind my bed in the background. And Finnegan hanging out. It's our kitty. But yeah, I've had all day to kind of think about this, and I'm nervous. Like, I've never been this nervous for a race before, which is kind of a new experience, but I don't feel prepared. But I'm going to do it. Prepared or not, I'm going to do it. I'm fairly confident that I can at least finish it. Whether I finish it the way I wanted to or not is irrelevant. So we're going to do it. We can do it. We can do it. Waiting. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Makes no sense.
I did it. I finished the race. It was not easy, but for having not run that distance for several weeks, I'm pretty proud of that. I think I did pretty good. I finished faster than I thought I would. Still not fast. I'm a slow runner. I'm not going to tell you my time because it's pretty slow, but I'm happy with that. I was complaining about being slow, and my middle child goes, "Mom, you beat your goal. That's great." So we're just going to be happy with that. We're going to take her advice and think that that's great. But yeah, I did it. I finished. I saw the kids and my husband like 3 or 4 times on the course. They were cheering me on. They all made signs. So that was really sweet. It was a great weather day. It was cool, but not cold. It wasn't windy. It was sunny. Honestly, it could not have been a better day for the race. It was a pretty hilly course. Not huge hills, but constant hills, like consistent sort of rolling terrain. So that was a little tough. It's not very hilly around our, that's not true. It's very hilly around our house, but I avoid running those hills. So not as much practice with that as I probably should have had, but really it was a great race. So mostly I'm really proud of myself that I didn't give up, even though I hadn't trained as well as I wanted to, but I did it anyway. So I'm really proud of that. It's actually part of a series. So I had signed up for the whole series. So there's 2 more this year. And you get a little magnet. I thought I had it here, so it's going to show you, but no, it disappeared. Oh, no, here it is. So you get a little magnet with each one. I don't know. There we go. And then at the end, you get a medal that each of the magnets snap into. It's kind of a cool concept, but I really wish that you got a medal for each race too. And if you weren't doing the whole series, because you don't have to, you can do an individual race, then all you get is the magnet. You don't get a medal or anything. And that would be a huge bummer. So that's not my situation. I'm going to do the whole thing. Now that I've done one, I don't know. I feel not exactly motivated, but I feel better. So I'll be able to keep going, I think. Maybe that's all I need, was just to finally hit a race. I don't know. But I'm really happy that I did it. Oh, that feels good. So yeah, we're going to end on that high note. We're going to end the vlog with an accomplishment that we can be proud of. So thanks for watching. Thanks for cheering me on if you were. And I will see you guys again in the next video. Bye.